Throughout your college career, you will be asked to write papers that demonstrate what you have learned and that synthesize information. It is important, therefore, that you become familiar with the elements of a paper as soon as possible. This presentation provides an overview of the components of a college paper. The organization of a well-structured college paper follows a similar pattern regardless of the paper topic. This presentation will describe and detail the key components that make up the college paper. Following this pattern will help you write better papers and get better grades. The basic structure of a college paper is depicted in this diagram. Following this format will aid you in writing well-organized and effective papers. What are the elements of a well-written college paper? An engaging introduction paragraph that finishes with a clear thesis statement. Well-developed body paragraphs that include topic sentences and main points backed up with specific details and examples. And a conclusion that sums up the main points. You can adapt this basic structure to any paper, regardless of length, and for any topic you are assigned. For a short paper, points 1, 2, and 3 may each be about one body paragraph in length. For a longer paper, each of your 3 main points may need several paragraphs to become fully developed. Having fewer than 3 points puts you at risk of writing an underdeveloped and ineffective paper. If necessary, you can always add more points. Now let's look at each of these 3 elements in greater detail. A strong introduction paragraph has 3 main components. A hook that draws the reader in by presenting the paper's topic in an engaging way. Background information that gives the reader context, and a very general understanding of your topic. The hook and background information are designed to set up the third component, the thesis statement, which is arguably the most important aspect of your paper. Let's examine the hook and the thesis statement in a bit more detail. The hook is generally the first line of your paper. It should capture the reader's attention and interest. One way you can do that is by asking a rhetorical question. For example, you might begin your paper this way. Why do people want children? It is a simple question to ask, perhaps an impossible one to answer. You can also tell a brief story or share a relevant plot from a movie or a book. In the Brazilian film Central Station, Dora is a retired schoolteacher who makes ends meet by sitting at the station writing letters for illiterate people. You can use an interesting fact or statistic to begin your paper. Consider this example. If you put Saturn in a glass of water, it would float. You could also make a compelling or even shocking statement to get the reader's attention. Just be aware that you have to be able to justify it and back it up with your paper. Such as, the human heart beats 100,000 times per day. Another option is to provide the reader with an interesting or little-known historical fact that relates to your topic. For example, the highest temperature ever recorded in the United States was 134 degrees Fahrenheit in Death Valley on July 10, 1913. Once you have an engaging hook, provide the background information necessary to move the reader in the direction of your thesis statement. Students are often advised to write their introduction after they have composed the body paragraphs. That is sound advice. But the thesis statement is one component of the introduction that cannot be put off. Your thesis doesn't have to be perfect at first. It can be a working thesis statement. But you do need to have an idea of what the focus of your paper will be. Now let's spend some time exploring thesis statements. The thesis statement is arguably the most important part of your paper. Like a gate, the thesis statement controls what information you include in your paper and what information is irrelevant and left out of your paper. The two elements of an effective thesis statement are a clear topic and a point of view. Let's look at an example of how to develop a strong thesis statement. First, you will need to decide on a broad topic, then narrow it down and develop a point of view about the topic. This is an example of how you can move from a broad topic toward a thesis statement. If you start with a broad topic such as movies, you can narrow it down by comparing watching movies at home with watching them in a theater. From there, you could develop a point of view that it's a more enjoyable experience to watch movies at home, and incorporate it into your topic to create a thesis statement. Another option in developing a thesis statement is to use it to map the ideas in your paper. This approach, which is known as a mapped thesis, outlines the topics you will discuss in each body paragraph and the order in which you will discuss them. For example, our mapped thesis then tells the reader that body paragraph 1 will discuss comfort, body paragraph 2 will discuss convenience, and body paragraph 3 will discuss price. It is important that you discuss the points in your paper in the same order that they are mentioned in the mapped thesis. There are some things you should avoid when crafting your thesis statement. Try not to announce what your paper is about or what you plan to prove. Avoid using the first person altogether in college writing. Also, do not use statements of fact. Generally, people agree on statements like these, so there isn't anything for you to argue or prove within your paper. Lastly, avoid broad statements that are too difficult and big to prove. Ideally, your thesis statement should be clear, focused, and provable. Just as the thesis statement controls the ideas in the paper, each body paragraph should begin with a topic sentence that controls the content of the paragraph. A good way to think of it is this: your thesis statement tells your reader what your paper is about, while your topic sentences tell your reader what each paragraph is about. Using the structure of your mapped thesis, you would begin your first body paragraph by talking about the relative comfort of watching a movie at home versus in the theater. Again, using the mapped thesis, your second body paragraph would begin with a topic sentence about convenience. The third point would be regarding price. Remember, the order of your topics in your thesis statement sets up the order of your supporting paragraphs. Once you have stated your topic sentence, you must support it. Details, descriptions, examples, facts, statistics, and anecdotes can be used to back up and support your topic sentences. These are the ideas that attempt to convince the reader of the truth in what you are saying and show your reader how you are well informed about your topic. Like support beams in a house, these details support your topic sentences and ultimately your thesis statement. Without adequate details, facts, and statistics to back up your points, your paper cannot stand. Using the prior mapped thesis about the comfort of watching movies at home, here are some examples of different types of support. Descriptions. Statistics. Examples. And facts. These examples demonstrate the types of support you might use to prove each of your main points in your topic sentences. Once your body paragraphs are complete with topic sentences and support, you need to formally end your paper with a conclusion paragraph. Your conclusion should restate your thesis. However, keep in mind that restating your thesis is not the same as repeating it. Use different words to communicate the same ideas and then summarize your key points. The conclusion only needs to be a few sentences long and should not contain any new information. A conclusion can also point the reader toward a way to think about or respond to your topic. Though it is not incorrect to begin the conclusion paragraph with the words, "in conclusion," try to avoid that transition as it is overused. Be creative in summarizing the main points of your paper. You have now reviewed the structure of the college paper, and you should be ready to apply these steps to your own writing. Feel free to download the accompanying handout to aid you as you begin structuring your next college paper. Lastly, remember that a good paper is focused and not simply a collection of random statements. In order to truly succeed as a college student, you must learn to write clear, focused, properly structured papers. Following the structure outlined in this presentation will allow you to clearly articulate your ideas and get your point across in all your college papers.